A year ago, I built my dream. Not a car, not some crypto portfolio, a damn computer. I'm talking full custom build RTX 4090, liquid cooling, 64 gigs of RAM, two curved 4K monitors, the works. I named it Orion. Dumb, maybe. But when you spend years piecing something together, part by part, gig by gig, you get attached. I didn't just build it for fun. This rig was my everything. I freelanced on it, did video work rendering VFX motion graphic stuff that paid my rent and bought groceries. I even streamed on the side. My whole life ran through that machine. Anyway, I was working for this boutique creative agency in Austin. Kinda trendy, startup-y, fake family culture. Our boss, Rick, mid-40s, silver fox wannabe, used to walk around the office barefoot. Real visionary energy, always tossing around phrases like, "We're not co-workers, we're warriors." Ugh. The man loved talking about sacrifice. Be flexible. This is a startup. We adapt. Translation: work weekends, eat shit, smile. I worked there 2 years, never missed a deadline, stayed late, picked up other people's slack. Wasn't glamorous, but it kept me afloat while I built my personal freelance brand on the side. Now here's where it gets insane. Last Saturday, I came into the office around noon. I'd left Orion at my workstation the day before I usually kept it home, but that weekend I had a big agency pitch and figured I'd run renders overnight. I walked into the studio and froze. My entire desk setup was gone. Like gone. No tower, no monitors, no keyboard, no Wacom tablet. Just dust outlines and some sticky note with "C. Rick" scribbled in blue Sharpie. I thought we got robbed. Seriously. I checked the server room, the loading dock. Everything else was fine. Just my stuff was missing. I stormed into Rick's office. "Hey, where's my rig?" Rick didn't even look up from his tea. "Oh, that. We sold it." "We what?" He said it so casual, like we just ran out of milk. "Sold it for Kylie's thing." "You understand, right?" I blinked. "You sold my computer. That's mine. I built that. I use it for freelance work. What the hell are you talking about?" Rick sighed, like I was the one being unreasonable. Kylie's launch party needed funding. It was time sensitive. She's building her personal brand, and well, the team had to make some tough calls. Kylie, by the way, is his daughter, 19, wants to be an event architect, thinks hashtags are a career. I once saw her cry because Uber Eats dropped off sushi with brown rice. Yeah. I stared at him, heat rising up my spine. "That computer wasn't yours to sell." Rick leaned back, all smug and spiritual. "You used it at the office. It's technically property of the workspace environment." WTF kind of corporate fortune cookie bullshit is that? I laughed. I was so angry I laughed. I brought that machine in myself. I have the receipts, Rick. You didn't even ask me. You just... What hawked it to fund Kylie's influencer party? She's building an audience. You don't get it. You're a tech guy. This is about aesthetic strategy. I swear I almost threw a chair. That night, I went home and stared at the empty corner of my bedroom where Orion used to live. I felt sick. All that work, years of saving, every upgrade, every hour spent researching parts, tweaking settings, pushing limits, not just gone, but disrespected, tossed aside for someone else's Instagram moment. I texted Ethan, my best friend, also a streamer, told him everything. His reply: "That's theft, bro. Not even gray area. Straight up felony. You gonna let that slide?" I didn't answer. I didn't know. Part of me wanted to explode. Part of me wanted to crawl under a blanket and disappear. Instead, I poured whiskey and opened a folder on my laptop titled Receipts. Time to make some plans. You're too emotional. Nah, Rick. I'm just done. That following Monday, I showed up early. Like 7 a.m. early. Printed every invoice, every product receipt, even screenshots of render logs tied to my freelance clients. I even had a selfie from the day I finished building Orion timestamped sitting at home in my PJs with the tower on my lap. Rick rolled in around 9:30 in some smug little Tesla. I was waiting in his office. "This is everything proving that PC was mine," I said, dropping the file on his desk. "I want my money, today." Rick looked through it slowly, like he was pretending to read. "Listen, I get that you're upset. I'm not upset. I'm fucking furious." He raised his eyebrows like language was the issue. "You stole from me. There's no other word for it." Rick folded his hands, tried to do that corporate calm act. "I can write you a check for 1,000. That's what the buyer paid. The machine was worth 3,600 minimum. And I want it back, not your half-assed buyout." He hesitated. That's when I pulled out my phone and showed him my next move. a draft email to our biggest client with subject line: misuse of creative assets and breach of contract, urgent FYI. Rick paled. Oh, now you're paying attention. Rick looked like someone had just told him his kombucha stock dropped 40%. The color drained from his face. I knew that look. That wasn't guilt. That was fear. He tried to fake it with a little half smile. Hey, now, let's not be rash. You stole my shit, Rick. I didn't even raise my voice. Just said it like I was talking about the weather. I'm asking for a refund on your theft. That's pretty generous, don't you think? He tried to explain it again. That Kylie's party was a branding investment. That we'd all benefit from her exposure. That he planned to make it up to me with long-term equity. Like I was some idiot he could buy off with buzzwords. I cut him off. You've got until 5 p.m. He blinked. Or what? I smiled. You'll find out. Then I walked out. I didn't wait for 5 p.m. I had no intention of waiting. I spent the rest of the day in a Starbucks with noise-canceling headphones and a spreadsheet of my freelance contracts. See, Rick didn't just take my computer, he took my workflow, my deadlines, my ability to deliver on jobs that kept me afloat outside his clown circus of a company. And you know what happens when you miss a delivery window in freelance? You lose clients. You lose credibility. So yeah, I was pissed. Not just because of the money or the gear, but because someone I worked for thought they could rob me blind and dress it up as team spirit. I emailed 3 of my biggest clients. I explained the situation, told them my system had been compromised due to internal issues at my agency. No details, just enough to get the message across. 2 replied within the hour. Both said they'd love to keep working with me independent of the agency. That's when something clicked in my brain. I didn't need Rick. Hell, I didn't need any of them. That night, Ethan and I sat on his porch eating tacos and talking shit. I showed him the draft of the email I'd threatened Rick with. Dude, he said through a mouthful of Al Pastor, he's lucky you haven't lawyered up yet. I shrugged. I thought about it, but honestly, I don't want court. I want closure. I want him to know he can't just screw people over and expect them to take it. Then hit him where it hurts, Ethan said, the image. Ethan was right. Rick didn't care about right or wrong. He cared about perception, clients, clout. That stupid plaque in the lobby that said, Most Promising Creative Collective 2023. So I started putting together a package. A neat little Google Drive folder labeled Assets and Accountability. Screenshots, emails, proof of ownership, even old Slack messages where Rick bragged about cutting costs under the table. I wasn't going to go nuclear, not yet, but I wanted the trigger ready. 2 days later, I came into the office early again. My desk was still empty, obviously. But now people were whispering when I walked by. Someone had heard. Probably Rick himself, trying to get ahead of the story. I didn't care. I printed my resignation letter, not some templated HR garbage, just one paragraph. I won't work for people who steal from me and lie about it. I hope your daughter's party was worth it. I left it on Rick's chair. Walked out. Never looked back. Well, not physically. Digitally, I looked back plenty. A week later, shit hit the fan. One of the agency's top clients pulled out of their campaign midway. Rumor was they'd lost faith in leadership. Another client froze payments until some financial clarity was provided. Rick sent a mass Slack to the entire team about the importance of confidentiality and staying united during times of external scrutiny. LOL. Then Kylie's video dropped. She posted a TikTok about her party, tagging every designer brand she wore, and ending it with, Huge thanks to Daddy's company for sponsoring my glow-up, blessed luxury life. Bro, she really hashtagged the crime scene. Within hours, that TikTok was being shared in design circles like wildfire. Someone in the comments even linked to a Reddit thread titled, Agency CEO sells employees PC to fund daughter's party. My name wasn't in the thread, but the screenshots were. The story took on a life of its own. People were pissed. Not just on my behalf, but because they'd seen this shit before. Creatives being treated like tools. Disposable, devalued. I read the comments while eating cereal in my boxers and just sat there, silent, kind of numb, kind of liberated. And then came the email from Rick. Subject line, let's talk. I didn't open it for a full day. When I finally did, it was exactly what I expected. Fake concern wrapped in corporate apology. Hey, my name. I regret how things played out. Maybe we could meet up and chat. I'd love to find a way to repair this bridge. Screw that. You burned the bridge and pissed on the ashes, Rick. I hit archive. Here's the part I didn't see coming, though. A week later, I got a call from a woman named Selena. She worked at one of our former clients, a luxury skincare brand. Said she loved the pitch decks I made, loved the aesthetic, asked if I was available for freelance or even full-time. I almost dropped my phone. Turns out, Selena had always assumed the visuals were Rick's. Now that the truth was out, she realized it had been me the whole time. "You've got talent," she said, "and you don't seem like an asshole. That's rare in this industry." We signed a 3-month contract the next day. The rate, double what I was making at Rick's agency. So yeah, that's where I'm at now. Working out of my tiny apartment using a loaner rig, Ethan helped me piece together from spare parts. Not as sexy as Orion, but it gets the job done. I'm rebuilding, slowly. Every now and then I check that Reddit thread. It's still growing, still evolving. Someone even posted an update last night. Said Rick's agency is under audit. Guess one of the investors didn't like how the party funds were being recorded. Couldn't have happened to a better guy than Kylie. The TikTok website. Probably got tired of people asking where she got the money for her designer haul. I still haven't heard from Rick again. No apology. No refund. But honestly, I'm good. Better, actually. I've got clients who respect me, a schedule I control, and no one hovering over my shoulder pretending to be some creative messiah. And the best part, the story's out there now. He'll never be able to rewrite it. It's been about 3 weeks now. 3 weeks since I left Rick's agency. Since I handed in that resignation letter that said, "Hope your daughter's party was worth it." Since then, my life's kind of split in two. Half of it peace, quiet mornings, coffee that I make because I actually have time to enjoy it. No more passive-aggressive Slack messages at 10 p.m. or quick feedback calls that last an hour. Just me, my borrowed rig, and the sound of Ethan screaming through Discord when he loses in Apex. The other half, noise from the past. Rick still hasn't paid me back. Not for the machine, not for the lost work. I didn't expect him to, but some part of me kept hoping I was wrong about how trash he really is. That part's dead now. Instead, I keep getting texts from people still at the agency, screenshots, snippets, Rick calling me a disgruntled contractor, telling folks I blew things out of proportion, that I was going through something emotional. I wasn't emotional. I was done being exploited. But apparently in Rick's world, the moment you stop being useful, you become unstable. Cool. This morning I woke up to a new voicemail from a blocked number. I usually don't check those, but something told me I should. It was Rick. He sounded different, not his usual smug tone. This one was tense, stressed, a little manic. "Hey, I think we got off on the wrong foot. Things are kind of chaotic right now. People are asking questions. I think it would be good if we could sit down. Clear the air, we can talk numbers. Let's be adults about this." I just sat there staring at my phone. Talk numbers. Now you want to talk numbers because the walls are closing in. Because clients bailed, and Kylie's TikTok made you a meme. Nah, man, we're past that. I didn't respond. Instead, I forwarded the voicemail to a secure folder I keep called Legal Safety Net. I'm not planning to sue, but I'm also not stupid, just in case. Later that day, I got a message from someone I didn't expect. Michelle. She was one of the newer designers at the agency. Super talented, kind of shy. We didn't talk much when I was there, but we'd exchanged a few pleasantries. She always had a sketchbook with her, even during meetings. She DM'd me on Instagram. "Hey, just wanted to say thanks. A few of us saw what you did. Not everyone could have stood up like that. Some of us are quietly looking for new jobs too." That hit me harder than I expected. I didn't think anyone noticed. I mean, I left that place feeling like I was either crazy or overly dramatic. Rick's whole vibe made you feel like speaking up was betrayal. Like if you had a problem, you were the problem. But turns out I wasn't alone. Michelle and I ended up talking for a while. She told me the environment had gotten even worse. More surveillance, more check-ins, more fake positivity that sounded like a hostage video. She said one person already quit, another was planning to soon. Part of me wanted to tell her to get out now. But I didn't want to come off like I was trying to be some martyr. I'm not trying to lead a movement. I just wanted my damn rig and my dignity. That night I sat with Ethan on Discord while I tweaked a client's animation loop. "You ever feel like all of this just shouldn't have happened?" I asked. "What do you mean?" "I mean, I didn't steal anything. I didn't burn anything down. All I did was walk away. And now there's this whole ripple effect, like I kicked off some revolution or something." Ethan chuckled. "You didn't burn it down. You just turned on the light. Turns out the place was already full of roaches." He wasn't wrong. Still, I couldn't shake this weird feeling in my chest. Guilt, maybe. Not for Rick, screw him, but for the people still stuck there. For the ones who didn't have the luxury to walk out, who needed that paycheck, even if it came with daily doses of manipulation. People like Michelle. People like me 3 months ago. Then came the text from my mom. We hadn't talked in a bit. She knew I was dealing with work stuff, and she's usually pretty chill about giving me space. But this text, it hit a nerve. Hey, your cousin Amanda says Rick is going through a lot. He's always been kind to the family. Maybe don't make things worse for him. I stared at that message for a full 5 minutes before replying. He sold my computer to fund a party and lied about it. What part of that is kind? Her reply came fast. I'm just saying, don't hold a grudge. Life's too short. No. See, this isn't about grudges. It's about boundaries. It's about not pretending people didn't screw you over just because they smiled while doing it. I didn't respond after that. Didn't want to open that door. But it made something click in my brain again. How many times have I been told to just let it go? How many times have people like Rick skated through life because they've got charm and connections and the privilege of being forgiven before they even apologize? No more. 2 days later, I got a package. It was from a guy named Tyler. He was the one who bought my rig off Craigslist. Apparently, after seeing the Reddit post, someone had linked him to it, and he realized he'd bought stolen property. He sent me a DM. Hey man, didn't know the backstory behind this PC. I've been using it for video editing and it's a beast. But I don't feel right keeping it now. I know I won't get my money back, but I'm shipping it to you anyway. No need to pay. Just seems like the right thing. I just sat there rereading that message. Some random dude had more integrity than the guy who signed my checks for 2 years. A week later, Orion was back in my room. Little scratches on the case, a few fingerprints, but still humming like the beast it was. I plugged it in and just sat in front of it staring at the welcome screen. It felt like a reunion. And a goodbye. Because here's the truth, getting the machine back didn't fix everything. It didn't undo the stress, the lost income, the trust shattered. But it was a start, a reminder that I wasn't crazy, that I wasn't overreacting, that standing up for yourself doesn't make you difficult, it makes you honest, and that sometimes the people who tell you to let things go, they're just hoping you won't hold them accountable. I'm not going to live that way anymore. A few days after Orion came home, I got another text from my mom. So are you coming to Amanda's birthday dinner? I didn't answer right away. I sat there for a solid 15 minutes, just staring at the screen. Amanda was my cousin. Yeah, but we weren't exactly close. She's Rick's niece. Well, technically, his wife's niece. But close enough that it always felt like they were one big group, and I was somewhere on the sidelines. It wasn't just a birthday dinner. It was a thing. A subtle family reunion masked as cake and candles. The kind of thing where everyone shows up looking overdressed, pretends nothing's wrong, and politely ignores all the shit they know, but don't want to talk about. The idea of going made my stomach knot. I knew exactly how it'd play out. I'd show up. Rick would pretend to be chill. Kylie would flash some half-smile and not say a word. Someone, probably Amanda's mom, would say something like, "It's so good to see you out and about." Like I'd been in rehab, not just healing from workplace trauma. And my mom, she'd beam the whole time like she'd just solved world peace by getting me to show up. I didn't want that. But I also didn't want to give them more ammo to say I was being dramatic or burning bridges. So I called Ethan. "Don't go," he said immediately before I even finished explaining. "It's just dinner," I said. "No, it's not. It's a trap with salad forks." I laughed. But yeah, he was right. "Think about it," he added. "They want to fix the image. That's all. You showing up lets them believe everything's normal, that you're over it, that they didn't do anything that bad." He wasn't wrong. I still didn't text back. Later that night, my mom called. I let it ring the first time, then again. Finally, I picked up. Her voice was warm, fake calm. "Hey, sweetheart, just checking in. Haven't heard from you." "Yeah," I said. I saw the text. Long pause. "You coming?" "I don't think so." More silence. "Can I ask why she said—" So I told her. Because Rick never apologized. Because everyone acted like it wasn't a big deal. Because you told me not to hold a grudge like it was my job to make him feel better. Because I'm still piecing my life back together, and I'm not ready to smile through a dinner where I'm the villain for protecting my own boundaries. She didn't speak for a moment. Then she said, "I just think it's time to move on." There it was. Again. The subtle emotional shove. Move on. Be the bigger person. Smile for the family picture. I'd heard it my whole life. When my uncle made jokes about my weight. When Amanda told people I was antisocial for skipping church events. When Kylie borrowed my graphics tablet without asking and broke the pen, then blamed me for having fragile gear. I used to go along with it. I used to think moving on meant I was mature. But now I realized it just meant they got to skip the consequences. "No, Mom," I said. "You don't get to say that anymore. Not about this." The next day, I got a text from Tiffany. Yeah, Tiffany. Apparently, she still follows me on Instagram, even though I never followed her back. She saw a reel. I posted a time-lapse of me rebuilding Orion, overlaid with a chill track, and a sarcastic caption, "When you put your life back together, one screw at a time." Her message. Wow, still milking that story, huh? No greeting. No hey, just straight pettiness. I stared at it, jaw clenched. Then I did something I'd never done before. I replied. Still avoiding accountability, huh? I expected her to block me. Instead, she doubled down. "You're making our family look bad, and Mom's really upset. You could have handled this privately." That sent me. I took a deep breath, screenshot the thread, saved it to the folder with Rick's messages, and typed, "Y'all handled it privately, behind my back. Now it's public, and I'm not sorry." Then I blocked her. It felt amazing. Like stepping into a warm shower after a day of cold sweat and awkward silences. The fallout wasn't instant. That's not how this stuff works. It's slow. It creeps in through little things, like your aunt unfollowing you, or your cousin posting a vague Facebook status about people airing dirty laundry for clout. The guilt hits too. Quiet but steady, like background noise you can't turn off. You start questioning yourself again. Am I being petty? Was it really that serious? Should I have just kept quiet? But then I remember what it felt like walking into that office, finding my setup gone, being told it's just a computer. I remember the emails, the deadlines I missed, the stress migraines, the way Rick looked at me like I was a resource, not a person. And I remember the silence from everyone else. No one had my back then. So yeah, it was that serious. About a week later, I got a Venmo notification. 1,200 from Rick. No message. Just the amount he made off my stolen machine. I sat there staring at the screen, hands shaking. I didn't know how to feel. Was this an apology, a peace offering, a legal strategy? I wanted to text him back. Wanted to say too little too late. But I didn't. Instead, I sent the money straight into a separate savings account and named it Fuel for my studio. That's the thing about revenge. It's not always loud. Sometimes it's just building a better life with the pieces they tried to break. The dinner came and went. I didn't go. Apparently, Kylie made a speech about forgiveness and growth. Amanda posted a photo with everyone smiling in front of a giant cake. My name wasn't tagged. Perfect. A week after that, Michelle texted again. She quit. Told them she was going freelance. Said watching me leave made her realize she didn't have to wait for permission to protect herself. I almost cried when I read that. She wasn't the only one. Another designer left too, then a copywriter. Word is Rick's scrambling to fill positions. The agency isn't dead, but it's bleeding. And every time I hear about another departure, another quiet escape, I feel lighter. Not because I wanted to destroy anything, but because it means I wasn't the only one who saw the rot underneath the pretty veneer. I'm not some hero. I didn't burn down a system or stage a protest or win a lawsuit. I just said no, and then I walked away. And yeah, it cost me. But you know what? It also gave me everything I'd been missing. Peace, space, control. And slowly, one screw, one render, one client at a time, something like freedom. It's weird. You fight like hell to get out of something toxic, and then when you finally do, the silence feels heavier than the noise ever did. I thought things would get easier after I blocked everyone, after Rick paid up, after I rebuilt Orion and got my work back on track. And yeah, in a lot of ways they did. I have clients now who actually respect my time. I don't flinch every time I hear a Slack notification. I don't have to walk on eggshells or pretend to laugh at someone's daughter's Instagram collab like it's actual creative work. But the truth is, there's this voice in the back of my head that keeps whispering, "You have to prove they were wrong about you." Like if I'm not visibly thriving, then maybe they were right. Maybe I was overreacting. Maybe I was replaceable. That voice sucks. Last week, I spent 2 straight days trying to make my reel perfect. Like I was pitching to some invisible panel of judges who might hand me a trophy labeled, "See, he was worth it." Every cut, every render, every frame of motion, I obsessed over all of it. Couldn't sleep, couldn't eat right. And then I crashed. Not the computer. Me. Physically, mentally burned out. I laid on the floor of my studio apartment, head on the rug, staring at the ceiling like it was going to give me answers. It didn't. Just dust and an LED strip that kept blinking like it was mocking me. I called Ethan. Didn't even say hi. Just, dude, what if I'm not built for this? He didn't say anything at first. Then you're tired, not broken. Chill. Simple. But it helped. He told me to take a break, step away from the screen, go touch some grass or whatever. I ended up walking to this diner I used to hit during my broke college student days. Sat in the corner booth, ordered pancakes at 2 p.m. like it was 2009. The waitress remembered me. Still like 'em with blueberries and way too much syrup. I laughed. That laugh did more for me than any invoice payment ever could. On the walk home, I passed by a thrift store. On a whim, I went in. There was this busted-up tower on a bottom shelf. Old, dusty, wires hanging out like loose veins, $30 tag on it. I picked it up, not to use, just to feel something. I remembered the first time I ever built a rig, not Orion. Before that, my Franken PC from Craigslist parts and literal duct tape. It ran like crap, but it was mine. Back then, I wasn't trying to impress anyone. I just wanted something that worked. Something that made me feel capable. I think I lost that somewhere along the way. Later that night, I sat in front of Orion hands on the keyboard and didn't touch a single thing. Didn't open After Effects. Didn't check emails. Didn't post anything on social. Just sat there, and I realized something. I was so busy trying to prove I was doing better that I forgot why I wanted to leave that agency in the first place. It wasn't to become rich or famous or some Instagram-perfect freelancer. It was to breathe. To not feel like every part of me had to be monetized or explained. To work because I wanted to, not because I was scared of what people might say if I stopped. The next morning I slept in. Didn't set an alarm, didn't check my phone first thing, made pancakes at home, played chill music, opened a blank canvas just to mess around, no pressure. It felt free. Not performative, not productive. Just quiet. Later that week, I finally sent my reel to a couple agencies, not because I needed validation, but because I was ready. That same day, Michelle messaged me again. She landed a client. Her first one solo. She was ecstatic. "You were right," she wrote. "It's not easy, but it's mine." And that hit me. That's what it's all about. Not winning. Not revenge. Not even closure. Just ownership. Of your time, your energy, your name. Of how you let people treat you. My mom texted again recently. She said I saw Kylie's TikTok got taken down. Maybe now everything can go back to normal. I didn't reply. Not out of spite, just because I had nothing left to say. Normal doesn't live here anymore. Not in me. Not after what happened. And honestly, that's a good thing. Last Sunday I had this moment. I was walking back from the store, holding a bag of groceries and a Red Bull, when some kid stopped me at the corner. "Hey," he said, "you're that guy who posted about the PC thing, right?" I blinked. Yeah, he grinned. That was badass. My last job screwed me too. Your story kind of gave me the push to leave. So, thanks, man. And then he was gone. Just like that. But I stood there for a second grocery bag, cutting into my wrist, heart pounding like I'd just finished a race. Because holy shit, someone saw me. Someone got it. You never think your little story, your pain, your rage, your dumb stolen computer is going to mean anything to anyone else. But sometimes it does. Sometimes it echoes. Sometimes it helps someone else get out before they rot. And that's worth something. More than a check. More than a like. More than a fake dinner with fake smiles.